Alright, so this is Samsung's new Galaxy Z Fold 7 and I think this is easily the most important foldable phone in the world right now because not only did Samsung remember that it could actually innovate instead of just handling out boring updates year after year, this is also the first time where it felt like I was finally holding that foldable dream I had years ago in the palm of my hands. A phone that is as low profile as a regular slab phone, but also something that could shape-shift into what's essentially a mini tablet. So it's really not surprising that Samsung's latest foldables have been a smash hit everywhere from its hometown Korea to India and the US, even though it's like 50% more expensive than the Galaxy S25 Ultra. What's crazy is that the Fold 7 is even lighter and practically as thin as my S25 Ultra. So I had this genius idea, why don't I carry both of them for a while to find out if this guy can actually get rid of the S25 Ultra in my pocket. That sounds fun, right? And after more than a month of walking around with probably the most expensive set of pockets of anyone around me, I am finally ready to share my full experience with you guys. So settle in, get comfortable, maybe grab some snacks as I walk you through everything I have learned about the new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Okay, the first thing I've got to talk about here is the design itself. Of course, that's the one thing that Samsung's book-style foldable sucked at before. The grass was always greener on the Chinese side of the fence, but not anymore. The Fold 7 is here and it's the lightest foldable in the world. And arguably also the thinnest as some independent tests suggest, although Honor still claims that the title belongs to the Magic V5. We are talking about 0.1 mm worth of difference, by the way. That's almost as thin as a healthy strand of human hair, but the point is the Z Fold 7 feels like any normal smartphone out there. It does such a convincing job of feeling like a normal smartphone that for the first few days, I actually forgot that I could unfold it. I'm not kidding, I was even using YouTube and Chrome in split screen on its cover display like a forgetful idiot when I could just have done this for a much better view. And it might be me and my tiny hands talking, but the Fold 7 feels much more comfortable to hold as well versus how the Galaxy S25 Ultra is this wide chunk monster in my hand. What I love even more is that despite making the Fold thinner and lighter, Samsung was somehow able to improve its durability side of things just as much. It's still only IP48 rated instead of the S25 Ultra's proper IP68 dust and water resistance, but listen to this. The Fold 7's new armor aluminum frame is apparently 10% stronger now. Its cover display uses the same second-gen Gorilla Glass ceramic as the S25 Edge for better protection against drops. And for the first time ever, Samsung says its foldable can now survive 500,000 folds, which is literally 250% more than every other Samsung foldable before this. I guess a foldable phone can never be as tough as a regular smartphone that does not bend, but with the Fold 7, I have never felt more reassured. Although, if you're watching Samsung, I definitely want to see IP68 next year, okay? If Google can do it, so can you. And maybe a different camera design too, because this one is by far the most wobbly phone that I have ever used. The wobble is so bad that I can't use it on a desk because of how shaky it is. Okay, I want to talk about the displays next, and I'm pretty sure most of you are already assuming the display experience to be just better on the Fold 7. I mean, its cover display has a very familiar aspect ratio, plus I can unfold it when I feel like it, plus the crease situation has also significantly improved over last year's Fold 6. The versatility alone should have been enough for me to ignore my S25 Ultra, right? Well, not really, because as it turns out, the Fold 7 falls behind in two big ways here. So number one, it no longer has stylus support, so that's gone, but it seems like Samsung already thinks that this omission was a mistake and wants to bring back the stylus support for the Fold 8, so better luck next year. And remember that anti-reflective coating on the S25 Ultra's display? Yeah, that's a no-show on the Fold 7 either. It's seriously my favorite bit about the S25 Ultra. So going from that to the Fold's super reflective display, both inside and out, was something I had to constantly remind myself to get used to. It might be a little hard to believe, but even the speakers are better on the S25 Ultra. Or maybe it's not that hard to believe since there's simply not much room for the speaker drivers to settle in because of how thin it is. Meaning the Z Fold 7 was never going to get as loud or sound as full and detailed as the S25 Ultra. That said, everything else is the same on these two. I'm talking the same sublime color science, I'm talking the same speedy touch response, the same smooth 120Hz refresh rate, and even the same brightness at around 1400 nits throughout the screens. Which unfortunately also means the Fold 7's display comes with a couple of Samsung limitations that I have been complaining about for years now, like a slow PWM dimming, unlike what you'd find on some Chinese foldables, and still no Dolby Vision support. You know where Samsung hasn't compromised though? You guessed it right, the performance. They both have the same Snapdragon 8 Elite chip, plenty of memory, plenty of storage, all working in tandem to deliver perhaps my favorite smartphone experience ever. Everything feels so smooth and so responsive, and Samsung's One UI software is just the sweetest cherry on top. The Fold 7 does run on the newer One UI 8, but since the One UI 7 was already such a major redesign, Samsung was more focused on ironing out the kinks this time with some minor UI UX improvements instead of anything big. Like a new interface for the quick share screen, a dynamic wallpapers option that changes its appearance based on the time of the day, some minor design refreshes to the Files, Gallery and Weather app, and also the taskbar, which feels weirdly inspired by Apple's Liquid Glass. Now, I say weirdly because this is the only visual element across the phone that I've noticed with that translucent glossy blur effect like on the iOS 26. Not just Apple, but Samsung pulled some inspiration from that open canvas thing on the OnePlus Open as well. This one's technically part of the Android 16 package, although the new 90:10 split screen mode feels like the perfect evolution to Android's best multitasking feature if you ask me. I can have one app eat up 90% of the screen and the other one take the remaining 10% and just switch between them with a tap when I need to. It's genius. The only new One UI 8 feature that I don't see coming to non-folding phones like the S25 Ultra is something called side-by-side editing, where I can see both before and after versions of a photo on the main display while using generative AI edit. Anyway, they both have 7 years of updates to their names too, so as far as the software experience is concerned, I am really not complaining. And you know what? The Fold 7's massive main display is great for gaming as well, especially for emulator games. But one thing you need to know is the thermals. The thermals are simply better on the S25 Ultra. I guess that was to be expected though, since Samsung obviously could not fit in a beefy vapor chamber cooling system on such a lean and thin machine. And one thing I'm a bit disappointed with it is its battery life, since the Fold 7's battery life is just not good. And depending on the kind of day I was having, I was mostly swinging between 5 to 6 hours of screen on time only, compared to how the S25 Ultra would last at least a couple of hours more. It's still pretty impressive that Samsung was somehow able to fit the same 4400 mAh battery as last year's Fold 6 despite making it thinner and lighter, but come on, when is Samsung going to give in to the silicon carbon batteries? Because remember the Honor Magic V5 I mentioned before? Yeah, what if I told you it has more than 30% larger battery? Alright, that brings me to the cameras, and for the first time in a very long time, we're seeing some new camera hardware on the Fold lineup. So except for the 3x telephoto lens and the 10 megapixel selfie camera on the cover display, everything else is new on the Fold 7. It borrows that 200 megapixel HP2 sensor from the S25 Ultra. It's got an upgraded 12 megapixel ultra wide shooter with autofocus for macro shots and a regular 10 megapixel selfie camera on the main display instead of that one that hides under the screen. Now, before I could go ahead, take a bunch of pictures and compare them, I already knew the Fold 7 would not beat the S25 Ultra's cameras, especially not for zoom shots, because on top of the 3x telephoto lens like on the Fold 7, the S25 Ultra also carries a 5x periscope camera. And yeah, if you're like me who loves zoom photography, you'll definitely prefer the S25 Ultra more. But the Fold 7 actually does a pretty good job with close-ups if there's not a lot of fine details like text. But yeah, the S25 Ultra zoom photos are clearly sharper and more detailed. And a better telephoto lens means better portraits too. And once again, although the Fold 7 tries to keep up with the S25 Ultra the best it can, there's only so much you can do with the inferior hardware. I'm also noticing slightly pinkish skin tone in the portraits, and I do not know what happened here, but the Fold 7 completely missed the edge detection around my hair as well. I thought I'd be saying the same about their ultra-wide photos since the S25 Ultra has a higher res 50 megapixel sensor, but no, unless I was really looking for a specific tiny detail, or unless when it was night, their ultra-wide shots almost looked exactly the same to me. Just like the images from their main camera, everything from the color optimization to the contrast level, details, dynamic range, and how they handle shadows and highlights is pretty much a copy-paste job, which I guess was to be expected because, like I mentioned before, the Fold 7 and the S25 Ultra use the exact same excellent 200 megapixel sensor. The only difference I've noticed is that the Fold 7's photos sometimes have this greenish tint when there was a lot of bright colored objects in the frame. So I hope this is something that Samsung can sort out with a couple of updates. I feel like I'm just repeating myself again and again at this point because their videos are a lot similar too in terms of stabilization, dynamic range, and all that stuff. The Fold 7 can also do 4K 60 FPS videos from all of its cameras and switch between all the lenses mid-recording. The selfie videos also have a wider field of view, but other than how the S25 Ultra's low-light ultra-wide videos are clearly more detailed and less noisy, I would be perfectly happy with the Z Fold 7 in my pocket to record my favorite memories. So all in all, I have absolutely loved my time with the Z Fold 7. I really have. And yeah, I think this guy can replace the S25 Ultra as my daily driver just fine. I know I have been very critical about Samsung's foldables before, but the way Samsung has come guns blazing with the Z Fold 7 is just remarkable. Almost every complaint that I used to have about these phones has been addressed, and I just love a good comeback story. The Fold 7 still leaves some room for improvement, like with its speakers and battery life, and I feel like this giant camera module has room for a better zoom camera as well, right? But all things considered, this is Samsung's first foldable phone that I don't have any hesitation recommending despite all the excellent competition. It's super expensive, yes, but if you can afford it, I bet you're going to love having a phone in your pocket that is somehow also a tablet. There's just nothing else like it. Alright everyone, that was all for my very detailed review of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 versus the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. If you had a choice, which one would you go for? Do let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notifications icon. Saying this, I'm Pratima and thank you so very much for watching.